Botswana is a province. Zimbabwe is a province. So if they don't want to unite, maybe they can remain as governors in their provinces. But we want a bigger agenda, which unites all our provinces. Because our country is Africa. That is our country.
Dear family, is it true that African leaders, politicians want African unity? Do they want a united Africa? Do they have a sincere commitment to unite the African continent? And is the African Union the right instrument to unite the African continent, the people of Africa here in the continent, and to our brothers and sisters in the diaspora? African Union sincerely is committed to unite Africans around the globe. And do you see in the near future we are going to have a united Africa with these current leaders that we have here in the continent of Africa? Dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans, let me first of all salute you in the name of Pan-Africanism before moving too far. The president of Ghana, President John Mahama, has dropped a bombshell to African leaders by calling Africa to stand together to demand reparation, not just for money, for the truth, dignity, and justice. Mahama says we must stand together. Well, the Sahel has already risen with the rest of Africa, lays with Sahel, with Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. President Mahama has insisted that we need to stand together. Can start standing together with Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso and demand friends to stay away from this country or these countries? Can we do so? Or we can stand together to demand reparation from European countries or from our former colonizers. If we have failed to stand together to support Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso that has already risen, can we come together to demand reparation? So family, friends, fellow Africans, let us listen what President Mahama has said. Then I'll come back to share a few things. Welcome.
It is to speak of history on African terms, of healing deep civilizational wounds, and of restoring to African people our rightful agency in shaping our past, our present, and our future. It is essential for Africa to articulate a unified and compelling narrative for reparations on the global stage. In this regard, we encourage the development of robust partnerships with the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, and advocate for effective execution of the AU-CARICOM joint mechanism, as well as the envisaged African CARICOM Summit that is to be held in early September 2025 in Addis Ababa. It is hoped that the side event-themed high-level panel on reparations, memory, and sovereignty, common African position, and the restoration of heritage resources, which was postponed from being held in the margins of this meeting, will be subsequently convened in the sidelines of the upcoming AU CARICOM Summit to showcase this timely and all-important issue. It is important to highlight that Ghana and Togo will co-sponsor a high-level event on the margins of the United Nations General Assembly in September 2025.
This is President John Dramani Mahama. This is not just another speech. This is a call to action. Mahama is reminding Africa that the pain of slavery, the scars of colonialism, and the theft of our resources must be accounted for. The question is, can Africa truly unite beyond the African Union? Can African Union be a tool to unite all Africans? Because we have seen some African countries being suspended by African Union. There's a unity among Africans through African Union? Okay, we see things happening in Niger, Mali, in Burkina Faso, and other places. Can our leaders come together to support the Sahel resistance? Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, who have dared to challenge neo-colonialism head-on. Can African leaders come together? Or we are waiting to come together to demand reparation? Do you think through reparation we will come together? I don't think so. Mahama is right. Reparation are not charity. They are a debit owed to a continent that built the wealth of the West through centuries of blood and tears. But if we are real, or if we are serious about reparation, we must also be serious about unity. Not speeches, we need action. So, do you think we will come together only through reparation? I don't think so. I see division among African leaders. So let me ask you, where is African Union when Burkina Faso is blockaded? Where is African Union when Mali and Niger are under sanctions? Where is African Union when some Western power said there was genocide in South Africa? Where is African Union? Where is African Union when some other people said Malema is a global terrorist? Of course, they use the name, I forget that name. But where is African Union? Because we expect African Union to be a continental body that is going to defend its people, its children, and a body or continental body that will bring together all Africans. So if other countries are being exploited under the watch of African Union, maybe I'm not far, I'm too far. Let us go back a little bit. Where is African Union when Gaddafi was removed from power? Where is African Union? What did African Union do at that time? And that's why I'm asking, is it true that African Union is the right instrument to unite Africans? And the current leaders are sincerely committed to bring unity in this continent? So if you start looking very deep, you understand sometimes we speak very well, but when it comes to action, we are not acting. The time is now for Africa to come together. Dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans, if there's a time for Africa to come together, we have got a reason. If we have been waiting for a reason, Mali is a reason, Burkina is a reason, Niger is a reason. So we can use this opportunity to come together. But I don't see commitment and courage from our leaders toward a united Africa. President Mahama has spoken very well, but the question is, when will African leaders stand up and say, we are going to unite? And I wish maybe one by one. What if today maybe President Mahama has to say, I'm going to join Sahel? What's wrong about that? Why we fear? Because we saw Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. First it was Niger. When ECOWAS threatened to invade Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso came together and say, if you touch Niger, you are touching us. And we expected other countries to join that. If you touch Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, you are touching Africa. If you touch, the way we saw young people came out in numbers 2 months ago when General Langley accused Captain Ibrahim Traore, you saw Africans from different parts of the world came together, united, and speak with one voice by saying, if you touch Traore, you are touching us. And you saw others prepared to leave their jobs, to leave their countries, to go and join Captain Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou. So the question to African Union, or to African leaders? Are they sincerely committed to bring unity? And what can we do? Because we are talking about reparation. Yes, people will say we will pay, but when? At what time? You heard the story of African Union getting permanent seat in the UN Security Council. Of course, I will come to speak about this matter next time. When Biden was in power, he promised African leaders that America will support African countries to attain or to get two permanent seats in. It was just 2. Yes, I think 2 permanent seats in the UN Security Council. Others went far by saying we need 5 permanent seats in the UN Security Council. But today we have Mr. Trump. Is Trump talking about those things? So no one right now is talking about UN permanent seat in the UN Security Council. Now we are shifting our agenda. Our agenda right now is reparation. So you can see how Africa, we are not, and all of these things is because we are not united. If someone has his own agenda, he is near to Western power, he can raise his agenda. When someone his different agenda, he raises his agenda. So we don't have a common agenda as Africa. So right now we are demanding reparation. On the other side, we are demanding UN permanent seats in the UN Security Council. Have you attained anything? No. The time will go, and at the end of the day, we'll find ourselves, we have nothing. So family, friends, fellow Africans, if you have something to share with us, please do so through the comment section. If you have different ideas, this is just brainstorming. We are trying to find different ideas, different views, so that we can, at the end of the day, we can build the Africa that all of us we want. Up to that, my dear lovely family, I have no more to share. Thank you for being part of this movement. Thank you for being part of this family. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, you hit the like button, and if you have already subscribed, please, you may share this video to other Africans here in the continent and to those who want the diaspora. This message must reach many of us Africans to know that President John Mahama has called Africa to stand together. We need also our brothers and sisters in Caribbean to come together to unite with us. After that, I have no more to share. Thank you. Stay in power.
Thank you, Africa. Mama Africa, oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, freedom. Thank you, Africa.